We're here to take you through our Xite Infotainment System. You'll find these usually on your Midwest day cruisers. You'll find them in the rear of the coach, usually at the two captain's chairs or however your day cruiser is laid out. If we look here, this is our Xite Infotainment System with a touch screen. Starting on the left column here with all of our buttons, we have the ejection port for CDs or DVDs. We have our menu button, which will bring us to all our menu settings here. After a period of inactivity, you'll notice that this will actually go back to the radio. We have a quick connect for our navigation system. If we hit this button here, that'll quickly bring us to our navigation system. Our navigation system is actually Rand McNally. The Rand McNally navigation system is not actually stored on the Xite Infotainment System. You have to get a separate SD card from Rand McNally, and then you put that into the navigation port slot right here that says nav card. You put that in there and you'll actually be able to download your maps. You also have a camera setting, so a quick connect for a camera. On this particular model, it's not synced with the camera, not to say that with your Midwest Day Cruiser it couldn't be. If you go to the system settings, you can actually set your favorite, whether that be your XM satellite radio. If you do that, you'll just one click of the favorite button here, it'll bring it to your favorite station or your favorite app. The current setting that we're on right now is our radio setting. If you notice up top here, this is our information bar. We're currently muted. It gives us our time, our Bluetooth, and if you actually hit the radio selection there, it will bring us back to our main menu, which then we can select on the touchscreen our radio setting. You'll notice there are several columns here on our radio settings, starting from band, which we have 3 FM stations and 2 AM stations. We can have presets on each one of those. You'll also see here, alternative frequencies is what the AF stands for. What it will do is it will look for alternative frequencies on the current radio station you're at if there's better ones, if you're not getting a good signal. PTY stands for program type. The program type will allow you to search for stations based on whether it's pop radio, hip hop, classic rock, country, whatever it may be. So some radio stations will actually have that program type in there so that you could select that. Especially if you're in an area that you aren't aware of what the local radio stations are. The low DX button here, if you actually click that, DX is the default, but if you click that and hit it to low setting, the low setting is only going to pick up your strongest frequencies of your radio stations that are nearby. So it actually may not pick up very many depending on where you are located. If you know the radio stations you want, you can just leave it on the default of DX. TA is traffic announcement. If we hit that, the TA will appear up here on the screen. It will typically blink. TA stands for traffic announcement. So if you're listening to a radio station and there happens to be a traffic announcement out there, it will actually change from your current radio station to wherever the other station is to get a traffic update. If we also look on here, we have regional frequencies. It'll pick up your local channels. The AS is for auto store, so that will auto store any of the channels that have the best frequencies within your area. So if you're not familiar with the local radio stations, you can then have those automatically stored to your memory. And then program scan will actually scan all the current radio stations that are within your memory to check their frequencies. Also, you'll just have your touch screen settings here like tune and seek for you to look for those manually yourself. And then if you want to find a radio station, for instance, that you like and then store it in your presets, all you will have to do is hold down for 2 seconds roughly. So let's say 93.7 is a station that we like. If we hold it down here, we can then see that we'll actually have 93.7 is our preset. And then by clicking in our volume button here too, we can then mute, unmute, and then change the volume just by turning the dial. If we go into menu, we can select our DVD selection here. With our DVD selection, we can take a DVD, insert into the ejection port here, and then we can kick back and watch our video. And then when you're all done, you can eject it, go back into menu. Again, if we see any of our apps that are gray or have no color to them, these ones are ones that we currently don't have the ability to use. Now, that's not to say that with your Midwest Day Cruiser that you wouldn't have XM satellite radio with your Xite Infotainment System, because you can. You just make sure that you talk to your Midwest dealer, make sure that that's something that you want included on there, of like having like your Sirius XM satellite radio. Now, some other things we have here are Bluetooth. Now, to connect with your Bluetooth, for instance with your phone, you go to your Bluetooth on your phone, and the one you'll want to look for is the X2S. Now, it may be different for your particular day cruiser. For this particular one, it is the X2S is the name that you'd be looking for. If you notice down here on the right-hand side of your Bluetooth settings, you'll see this little telephone, this picture of a telephone. It'll say no paired device. What you'll do is, again, click that. Again, it'll say pairing. If you scan on your phone for nearby Bluetooth, and then what you'll see is the available devices will pop on your phone here, the X2S. We'll click X2S, it'll say pairing. And then, as you can see on the screen here, it'll read Bluetooth. It'll show your device that's connected, which is the Samsung in this case, and then it will ask for your permission to get into your phone log or your contacts. If you don't want that, you can actually click Do Not Allow. So in this case, we're going to actually click Do Not Allow. And as you can see, several features on here. You can dial the numbers that you want to get into. If you actually have your phone book stored to this, you can get to the names that you want to dial and speak with. You can go into the settings here, change any of your phone settings. You can begin a call here. This will redial your last phone call. This is to do voice command by asking, like, hey, call mom, if it has the ability to do that. And then it will also give your connection on your cell phone and your battery life. And if you want to go to see how many devices you actually have connected, it will show here. We have just one at the moment, but you could store up to several. And then if you want to get back, go to Bluetooth again. You could also do Pandora through your Bluetooth. And you can play music right from your cell phone. And then if you get a phone call in the meantime, it will actually pull up on the screen here. If it pulls up on the screen, it will give you the ability to reject that phone call or allow that phone call. You can do that again just by going right on your phone as well. So if we go to our auxiliary settings, this is typically where we're going to be if we want to watch TV through antenna or in motion satellite. Now, again, each Midwest Day Cruiser is a little bit different in how they operate. That's just what I've seen with some of the day cruisers. And then hitting menu again, we can go to our setup screen. We can dim our screen. We can change some of the settings through our video and audio. The beep tone, if you don't like the beep tone as you're clicking buttons on here. So you have a lot of different ways to customize it to fit your needs. And that's our feature today with the Xite Infotainment System.